And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
Is it possible that the greatest superpower the world has ever known is actually the central figure in a 2,000-year-old prophecy of destruction? Look around. The headlines are screaming, the economy is shaking, and the global influence of the United States is being questioned like never before. But for those who study the Word, there is a deeper, more chilling question. Is America the new Babylon described in the book of Revelation? Some say it's Jerusalem, others say it's a revived Roman Empire. But a massive segment of the Remnant believes the clues point directly to the land of the free. Today, we're weighing the evidence, looking at the mother of harlots, the economic collapse that stops the world, and a mysterious set of eagle's wings. The clock is ticking toward a prophetic finish line. We need to know the truth before the hour strikes. The mother of harlots. The mystery begins in Revelation 17, verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. To understand if this is America, we have to look at the nature of this entity. The prophecy describes a city or system that is drunk with the blood of the saints. Many scholars argue this refers to 1st century Jerusalem, the city that killeth the prophets. They believe the harlotry is a spiritual metaphor for Israel turning away from God. On the other side, many of you in the community have pointed out that America's global influence has exported abominations to every corner of the dark web and every TV screen on earth. It is a cultural powerhouse that has led the world into a specific kind of spiritual intoxication. If Babylon is a city that sits on many waters and influences all the nations of the earth, it's hard not to look at the cultural and military reach of the West. But the description goes deeper than just influence. It speaks of a golden cup full of filthiness. Are we seeing the moral decay of a superpower? Or is this an ancient shadow of something else? The economic powerhouse. This is where the evidence gets heavy. Revelation 18 describes a commercial empire so vast that when it falls, the entire global economy stops. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. Think about the merchants of the earth. If a small city-state falls, the world moves on. But if the US dollar collapses, if the American consumer market vanishes overnight, the merchants of the earth would indeed wail. The prophecy lists luxuries: gold, silver, precious stones, fine linen, wine, oil, and even souls of men. America is the engine of global trade, the consumers, the ones who buy the merchandise of the world. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. If you are looking for a nation that has made the rest of the world wealthy through its delicacies and consumption, the United States is the primary candidate. The wailing of the merchants isn't just about sadness, it's about a total loss of profit. When Babylon goes down, the world's shipmasters stand afar off because they can't afford to get caught in the blast. The eagle's wings connection. Let's look at the symbols. In Daniel 7 verse 4, we see a lion that had eagle's wings. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Now, historically, this refers to ancient Babylon, but prophecy often has a dual fulfillment. The eagle is the national symbol of the United States. Many of you have commented on the channel about Revelation 12:14, where the woman, Israel, is given 2 wings of a great eagle to fly into the wilderness to be protected from the serpent. Is America the eagle that protects Israel in the end times? Or is it the Babylon whose wings are eventually plucked? The imagery is striking. The lion represents the British Empire in many modern interpretations, and the wings that broke off represent the United States. If the wings are plucked in Daniel's vision, it signifies a loss of power, a transition from a soaring superpower to a vulnerable man. We have to ask, are we watching the plucking of the wings right now? Are we watching the transition from a supernatural protector to a nation that is losing its heart? The 1 day, 1 hour warning. Perhaps the most terrifying clue is the speed of the judgment. In an age of nuclear weapons and digital finance, sudden destruction is no longer a metaphor, it's a technical possibility. Revelation 18 verse 10 says, "Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come." In 1 hour. This doesn't sound like a slow decline of a Roman Empire over centuries. This sounds like a cataclysm. A cyber attack that wipes out the grid. A financial collapse that devalues currency to zero in a single trading session. Or a kinetic strike that levels the centers of power. As we look toward the timeline and the mounting tensions in the Middle East and the Pacific, the 1 hour prophecy feels more relevant than ever. The urgency is high because the mighty city thinks she is untouchable. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. The pride of a nation is often the precursor to its fall. When a nation believes it is no widow and will see no sorrow, it stops watching. It stops praying. It stops repenting. The call to come out of her. Whether America is the literal geographic Babylon or simply the current headquarters of a global Babylonian system, the instruction from heaven is the same. Revelation 18 verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. This is a call to the remnant. It's a call to you. Coming out doesn't necessarily mean moving to a different country. After all, where can you go that the Babylonian system hasn't reached? It means coming out spiritually. It means untethering your heart from the delicacies of this world. It means your security isn't in your 401k, the strength of the dollar, or who is in the White House. The plagues are coming for the system. If you are tied to the system, you will feel the heat of the fire. We are living in a moment of extreme mystery, but God has not left us in the dark. He gave us these clues so we wouldn't be caught sleeping. If the 1 hour is approaching, the time for living deliciously is over. It's time for discernment. It's time for purity. It's time to realize that our citizenship is not of this world. Stay watchful. The King is coming. Amen. Thank you for joining us today on The Faith Habit. What is the next mystery or world event you want us to lay against the mirror of Scripture? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.